This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And with spring break right around the corner, many of you may be looking for warmer weather and thinking of a trip to warmer climates. The new alerts for Zika virus have some in the heartland having second thoughts. Now today we have Dr. Justin Puckett here from Complete Family Medicine to share more about it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So first of all, we've heard about Zika virus everywhere, in the news, in the newspaper, on TV. What is the Zika virus?
Well, it's a virus that's actually been around since the 40s. It was first identified in the 40s in Africa. It's not something particularly new. It's been locally, it'll have little outbreaks, and mostly in Africa, and then headed over towards the Pacific Islands. And so only recently has this virus kind of creeped its way over towards us, and now have coming through the Caribbean islands and into southern and Central America and all the way up to Mexico. So the virus is just like any other virus. It just gets inside of us. There's not a whole lot we can do to treat it. We just kind of have to let it wear itself out. And the virus is spread by mosquitoes, and mosquitoes have a range of a few hundred meters. So it's not like we're having this swarm of mosquitoes. We're doing so much more travel that all it takes is a few people to go to an area and to bring that back. And then if there's the vector, again, the mosquito here, then or in the Caribbean islands or wherever, then it can spread. So that's kind of the story behind the virus. And so not anything new, but just kind of new to this side of the world.
Okay. Now let's go ahead and talk about risk of being infected, especially those that are expecting.
Yeah, so the Center for Disease Control is being real hesitant at this point to put any definitive occurrences of pregnancy-related adverse events. So we're not really sure is the bottom answer, but there's been lots of anecdotal stuff being reported out of these environments that have shown that there's the primary cause being microcephaly. So that's a baby that's being born with a small head, a small brain, and sometimes even some malformation of the brain. And then there's been a wide variety of a lot of other things, everything from stillbirths to spontaneous abortions to other birth defects, and we're hearing lots of anecdotal reports coming out of these areas where there's not a whole lot of real good science and not a whole lot of good epidemiologic follow-up. And so the CDC is being a little bit resistant to say exactly what we think the cause can be. And even in the Pacific Islands and in Africa, the cases have been so few that there's not been a whole lot of work done on that. There's no one trying to develop a vaccine. Well, at least prior to this, I know there's some folks working on it right now, but so it's kind of been this thing that's just kind of floated out there, not been a big deal, but now all of a sudden it's become more of a concern.
And so you just mentioned there really is no treatment for it, there is no vaccination for it. So what are some ways that we can maybe, prevent it or lower our risk of getting it?
Well, right now the Center for Disease Control recommends that any women who are pregnant of any trimester that they should consider avoiding those areas if it's avoidable. So if there's there's got to be something that's good to see up north. It might not be quite as warm, but going to some place other than the Caribbean, if you're actively pregnant, is a recommendation if possible. If not possible, then you just need to do all of the good normal mosquito, malarial type things that we've talked about before, with using lots of EPA-approved bug sprays, making sure that you're staying away from areas that are swampy and marshy, and using mosquito nets and staying inside and doing whatever you can to avoid those mosquitoes. The one thing that we are watching very closely is that we do have this same mosquito that lives in Florida all the way up even into the southern half of Missouri. As of right now, we've never seen these mosquitoes in the heartland, but it's something that if we all bring this back and then those mosquitoes start transmitting it, and then even if the pregnant woman stays behind and their partner goes to the Caribbean or someplace and they were to get exposed, they can actually bring that back home, and a mosquito can transmit it, or it can be sexually transmitted. We're not exactly sure how long, but we know that the virus lives in the sperm quite a bit longer, in the semen quite a bit longer than it does whenever it just clears in our normal body. So something to be thinking about, to make a choice about. But certainly you think about the millions of people living in Puerto Rico, and I'm getting ready to go to Puerto Rico in a few weeks, and so so I was looking there, and they've had about 20 cases in one small area in the south, and so I feel completely comfortable going to San Juan, but I'm going to take all my appropriate precautions. So just if if you get it, you just get kind of, if you're not in that pregnant boat, then you just get kind of sick, kind of achy with a little bit of a rash and a fever, and it passes in a week. So it's not a real big deal. It's just that with this big unknown question mark about what might happen to unborn babies.
Okay, well, what we'll do to make this a little bit more easier for everyone to understand is we'll post everything on our website at ktvo.com, and we'll link up information with Dr. Puckett as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.